Okay, how's it going, guys?
Working.
Working. All right. Making some cash, helping some people.
Calling some database.
She's the real deal. She got a headset on.
Hey, I'm in full mode right now.
No, I didn't bust out my headset today. I got one too. See?
Yeah.
Kim, you need a headset. Yeah, headset. All right, guys. My goal today is to talk a little bit about routine. And I'm an open book. I have some good routines and some crappy routines. I'm sure you guys do too. So let's just make a little list on what we want to cover today. And we'll see if we can't help everyone leave the session today with some good information and a handful of strategies that they can employ in their business right away. Who wants to start? What do we want to learn today?
Okay, so if you could see my desk, you'd know why I need to have a routine. It's kind of a disaster, right? I tried to have my 411 in front of me.
Okay.
That's not working out because it's in this pile, or GPS actually, it's in this pile somewhere. And it's just all over the place. I'm all over the place.
What are you staring at each day? Like what's in front of you?
A mess.
Is there like a wall in front of you or?
No, my window. There's a window there.
Okay. And like, do you have like a picture of your family or like anything in front of you?
No. Well, yeah, they're on a table in front of the window.
Okay. So could you, like, do you want, I mean, we can create anything. You can buy a little thing that you clip to your desk that'll hold up a board or something like that. I mean, would that be helpful?
I don't know if that's going to help with this mess. I think switching from, I think I have to get out of the mindset of putting everything on paper and doing more digital work. Maybe that's it.
All right, what are we putting on paper? Let's talk that through.
Like everything. Every time someone calls, I write notes, I scribble it down on paper. I have the ton of these all over the place. Just everything. I'm sorry?
So like, where are the ones that you wrote yesterday?
Under this pile somewhere.
What did we do with
it? What?
Like, if you, let's say you wrote down.
I can't hear you, Bill.
Let's say you wrote down, hey, Joe Smith, they want to buy a home, in Roswell in May. And you wrote down their contact information. Like, and you jotted it down.
Ooh, is that my Wi-Fi or yours? Like,
can you guys hear me?
I hear you fine.
Mm-hmm. I hear you too.
Okay, can you hear me now?
I sort of, but you're like wonky. Like,
here, I'll try to stand still. Once you've jotted that stuff down, what is the next step? Is your routine to then input it into command and throw it?
No, that's what I was supposed to be doing all day today because our numbers are due today. Yes, and so I have people's numbers that I've met all over the place.
Okay.
And their cards and just I've resorted to putting them in paper clips now because.
Okay. So maybe there should be kind of like a couple of like some type of filing system on your desk where you jot down the sheet of paper, and now the only reason why this piece of paper exists is because it has not been put into something digital. So then it goes into a stack of late at night in my pajamas, I'm going to put this into command. Once it's in command, it's thrown away.
There you go. That's a good idea.
So then you basically have like a cleanup period every day.
Mm-hmm. That's what I need to do every day. Put that in my time block for that.
You're already ahead of me. That's exactly right. So you would say, let's say from 9 o'clock to 9:15 every day. I'm just throwing around a time. It doesn't have to be at night if you don't want it to be at night. It could be from 7 a.m. to 7:15 in the morning. I clean up all the chaos I created, right? So I had shown you guys a sheet. Remember the sheet that we used that was the daily activity tracker?
Mm-hmm.
that made you check off the things that needed to happen every day. So like I need to open command every day. I need to look at my GPS every day. I need to track my numbers every day, that stuff. Or I need to, then do 20 push-ups, whatever, go to the gym, call my mother, whatever. And then I list out the people that I speak to. And then I list out all the promises that I made, right? Oh, I'll connect you with the lender. I'll call you in 2 weeks. Oh, I'll send you some comps for this address. I'll send you a handwritten note, whatever promises you've made. And then at the end of the day, you go and make sure that all those promises are executed, right? And then maybe you have some kind of color coordination where like at the end of the day, everyone that needs to get added to the database gets a little yellow or a little orange mark by them. Everyone that needs to, I write a handwritten note to gets a blue or something like that, where it makes sense to you. It doesn't have to make sense to anyone else. It's your personal world, right? And then when you close the file each day, then there's no way anything's slipping through the cracks because you've entered it into your system. So that basically becomes your routine. Your routine is simply a execute a calendar, right? If I say I'm going to do this at 1 o'clock, I do it. That's the routine.
Yeah, I think since I moved in my old office, I had it all set up, and so it wasn't an issue. And now I think I'm all disorganized again, and I've got to, fix that.
So think about everything that you used to have in a in your old environment, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that is exactly what you should have in your new environment. Your environment must support your goals. If you sit down at your desk and you don't have clarity on what you're supposed to do, you're not reminded about the right stuff, you're not thinking clearly, there's not enough light, whatever it is, you're not going to be as effective as you could be.
Great.
Right. So if you've got your desk around, so you're staring at the wall instead or sideways, so you got something to, your vision board, or, like if you turned around and you looked at your family every day, would that help? Would that not help so much?
I mean, I can see them. They're right there.
They're physically right there?
I mean, the desk, the table with their pictures on it's right there.
Oh, I see. I didn't know if they were like in the room with you.
Yeah, no.
Okay. So the goal really is to say, have I created an environment that supports my goals? Right. And have I created systems that make certain that nothing slips through the cracks? Does that make sense?
Yes.
I can't even express to you how important that cleanup time is.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, I know. I really know. It's a mess.
Right. And maybe like sometimes those people don't even necessarily have to be imported that day. Right. They could be put in that week. If you didn't make any promises to them, put them in over the weekend. Right. All right. Who else wants to share? What are you struggling with routine wise? Should we talk about morning routines, evening routines, some type of business routine? What would be the best use of the next 50 minutes together?
Could we do a routine for if you already have, I guess, buyer brokerage or listing contracts together, like how often should you be in contact with them? If, you reach out to them every so often, but like how often should you really be in contact with them as far as a routine to find that perfect home for them?
That's a great question. Great question. So I think it all has to do with the expectations that you set, right? Number one, you want to make sure that they have all the resources that they need, technology, app, whatever it is, so that you are part of that process, right? So for example, I don't know why it's so dark today. For example, let's say that you let 5 days go by without you and your prospect speaking. Well, if they found something and they just called the agent on the sign, or they just called that first agent they saw on Zillow, you might have lost the whole thing, right? So a lot of it comes to setting the expectations of I'm going to be looking at homes every single day, something pops on the market. Don't be surprised if you hear from me, hey, would you like to go look at that one that just came on the market? Because I'm looking at them just like you are, right? Or, hey, just wanted to check, what we can do is, we'll schedule an appointment to get together Thursday at 4 o'clock, and we'll finalize exactly what homes we see Wednesday night. But, I'm sure you're really busy. I'm really busy. Let's go ahead and get something penciled in so that we can connect, so we know when we're connecting. I think it has to do with number one, how urgent is it, right? Is this somebody that's trying to buy a home within 2 weeks, or is this somebody that's like, just kind of looking, right? You might have a different level of intensity with them. If you have to say to yourself, I wonder if I should check in, the answer is you need to call them, right? I don't believe you can over communicate. However, you also cannot not communicate. Meaning, if you go 2 weeks without talking to somebody, what you've essentially told them is that they're not that important, right? You've been busy doing other stuff, right? You've been busy doing other stuff, and so they just haven't gotten to the top of the list yet. So what I would say is that's kind of like almost like a daily check-in, right? So remember, each day you should have certain built-in routines, okay? You should probably have a window for lead gen, right? You should probably have a window for lead follow-up. You should have a window for appointments. You should have a window for practice, right? I know you guys can't see that, I'm sorry. Right, lead gen, lead follow-up, appointments, practice. You should probably have a little window for learning, right? Now, what I suggested is I want you guys to build pipe. Ooh. I'm okay. Don't send the cops. Oh, it's not bleeding yet, but it's close. Okay, so creating a pipeline. What I've made the recommendation to many of the students here is that we want to take the number of homes that we want to sell in the next 12 months. We want to triple it. And then we want to add that number of people to our pipeline by the end of the year. Okay. And then we want to rank those people based on how urgent they want to buy or they want to sell. And so you're basically looking at that list all the time. It's in front of you all the time, just like my 411, right? So if, let's say you're helping a guy named Joe buy a home and he's on a search, then if you haven't heard from Joe in a couple of days, you might call him and say, hey, have you seen anything that you'd like to buy? What about that home that just popped up yesterday? You want to go take a look at it, right? Anything, do you want to think about changing some of your criteria? We haven't seen anything in a couple of weeks. Like, help me understand a little bit about where you're at. Okay, because believe me, they're getting frustrated and they've probably already changed their criteria and might be, clicking on links that's going to cause them to get called by other agents who might be more aggressive than you. You see what I'm saying? So it's all about setting those expectations up front. Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Routine is basically it's just a series of habits, right? I have a habit to wake up at this time. Then I go to the gym, that's another habit. Then I eat breakfast, that's another habit. I go get coffee, that's another habit. Like, what am I committed to doing every single day? Are you to the point where picking up the phone every day is routine? Do you feel weird when you don't lead generate? Kim, I know you work out every day. Do you feel weird when you skip a day or two?
Yes.
Okay. Do you feel that way about lead gen yet?
No.
Well, do you think your business might look a little different if you did?
Yes.
Okay.
Definitely.
So how can we add that to the routine? Right? Is that something that we're willing to commit to? This is the first time we've done a class on routine, if you will. So, you know, there's certain models and systems for that, but I want to make sure that we talk about your specific needs. Are there certain, you know, like some people, they drag a little bit in the morning and therefore it gets in the way of their productivity, or it gets in the way of the amount of time they spend, you know, with their family. Like, quite honestly, I've been in a little rut lately where, you know, I haven't been waking up that early. And then when I wake up, my kids are there, and, you know, I want to still do all the things I used to do in the morning by myself. And now I'm waking up and the kids are there. And so then I automatically get frustrated that my kids are there when I should be like already done with all the things I wanted to do. And then totally like, oh, let me get you dressed. Now I'm like, get yourself dressed. Know what I'm saying?
I
Yes.
overstand. Oh my gosh. I need some space from my kids right now. Love them, but I'm just like, oh wow, this is different.
Well, do you need to wake up earlier to get whatever you need to get done so you're at peace, right? So if, let's say you want to do some reading in the morning, you want to watch a motivational video in the morning, you want to pray in the morning or whatever, exercise, are you willing to wake up earlier?
Well, I do that. I get up at 6:30 so that I have enough time to work out before my son's 8 o'clock class starts. So it's just like, okay, well, let me get up early enough to get him together so I can leave for 40 minutes while someone is still in the house to watch him, to go work out, to come back. I don't want to get up earlier than 6:30, but I mean,
Well, what do you like more? Sleeping between 6 and 6:30, or getting frustrated when your kids are around?
it's a hard one. I need to get up earlier.
I'm not judging you. I'm just asking you a tough question. Go ahead, Twan.
I was gonna say, just speaking from another mom over here with the same scenario as you, that's kind of like what I have to do with my scenario. I have to get up earlier. Like, it's not even an option. When I get up and try to do 6:30, even at 6:30, it puts me in a frame almost like what Bill is talking about, like where we kind of like rushing again, trying to get it together. So from another mom trying to do this too, I suggest you just got to get up.
Right. Well, what time do you go to bed?
Me or who, Bill?
Well, I'm in the bed by about 10:30. Like, I'm done with the day, and I try to, whatever I put on my list, I've been more purposeful at actually completing it and not going to bed until it's done. So I'm proud on that end. And I think like my day starts off really good, but somewhere in the middle, like it just goes left.
Willing to go to bed at 9:45?
No, because that's kind of the time that I kind of spend with my husband a little bit, like because he gets off late. So by the time he gets home, I'm kind of.
Is it safe to say that you waste 15 minutes between 5 o'clock and 10 o'clock?
Okay, yeah.
I don't know. You tell me. Is that safe to say?
It's very safe to say.
You go hide in the bathroom and check Facebook? I've done
a little bit.
I almost do that every night.
Yeah.
Right?
I do.
Okay, so let's examine every minute, because we don't want to give up time with the husband. We don't want to give up time with the kids. We don't want to give up the cleanup time for our business. We need an ample amount of sleep, and we don't want to be fussy in the morning. So what are our other choices?
Get up early. I can't pay anybody to do any of the things that I don't want to do. So.
Or go to sleep later, or go to sleep 15 minutes earlier, because you eliminated the 15 minutes of wasted time.
It's
right?
An option. It's an option.
Who else is struggling with routine?
I think I have a struggle with routine with having a full-time job.
Okay, talk to me about that.
Just making necessary calls that I need to make during the daytime to generate for my real estate business. But by the time I get home, have time to actually cook have time to, you know, myself, or, you know, like even with my boyfriend, you know, we have to spend time together. I just feel like by the time I look up, it's already 8:30
Right.
from working 9 to 5 and getting home around 6:30. I just feel like it's not enough time in a day.
Well, I would encourage you to, you gotta hyper examine what you're doing each day and how you're spending those minutes. So for example, we did this exercise, I think a couple of you have heard this, maybe a year and a half ago or so with the leadership team, is we gave everyone a sheet of paper and they carried it around for a week, and every 15 minutes they wrote down what they did in the last 15 minutes. And they did that exercise for about a week. And then it became very clear that everyone wasted a lot of time, right? For the last 15 minutes, I've been watching TV. Okay, well, what's more important, catching up on TV or building a business? You tell me. Again, I'm not making a judgment. It's just simply an awareness, right? So, you know, is it possible to go in and examine how you're spending all of those moments? And is there anything that can be done to improve that the way you're using that time? Does that make sense? I mean, I'm not asking you to call yourself
That
out.
makes sense.
Is it fair to say that you're probably also not using your time in certain situations as strategically as possible?
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
Okay. Cool. Whatever we want to get in the habit of being able to, it's almost like you're like watching your life happen, right? And it's like you're hovering over you and you're like, gosh, why am I eating at 9 o'clock at night? Right? Why did I order a Coke instead of water? Right? Why did I hit the snooze button one more time? Right? You're trying to figure out, like, where are you struggling so that you can support the alternative decision, right? Like, how did you get to, Kim, how did you figure out a way to make certain that you worked out every day? Why was that routine so important to you?
Health. It's really, for me, it's about health. It's just watching my parents and grandparents. Well, my parents are still alive, but my grandparents died at early ages, and a lot because they just didn't take care of their health. So I just kind of made it a focus because I don't always like to eat the best food. So not that working out balances that out at all, it doesn't. But I feel like if I can keep my health in check and my numbers good, then I'm 80% of the way there.
Cool. So it's deeper than health. It's, I don't want to end up like my grandparents.
Right.
Right. Now, health is like, I'll deal with my health tomorrow. Not wanting to end up like my grandparents is like, whoa, I don't want, like, that's much more significant. Would you agree? You can't put that off.
Yes.
So think about it. Like, how much money are you leaving on the table because you're not hitting your potential? Right?
Yeah.
And is there anything, and I feel like I'm dancing on a few different lines here, but is it possible that something could be done differently, Ebony, so that you have more energy?
I don't know. Like, I think I've made a lot of transitions, like over the past
I know
month and a half.
you've been impressing me. There's no doubt about that.
I'm open for suggestions.
I don't know if I have any. I want you to think that everything through. It's like you're hyper analyzing yourself so that you can see where is there room for improvement here, right? Or is there room for improvement?
Oh, I have some positive feedback for Ebony because when I was at her open house this weekend, first of all, I was in this beautiful building in Buckhead. I had never been in that building before, and it was very beautiful. It has a doorman. It's just a kind of luxury type apartment living, well, condo living. And she looked like $1 million. She looked like she should be selling condos in there. And I thought
Thank
that's
you.
great because she's sitting open. She was downstairs, you know, waiting for guests to come to her open house, and then she would show you the amenities. And she did a really good job. Like, she knew her stuff. She knew where everything was. And I thought, that's great. And it actually is a good idea. Like, I hope she gets the listing because just have more open houses and be a presence in the building. I think she's going to get more listings.
I love that. Do you think,
Thank you so much.
just like Kim noticed that, everyone you cross paths with noticed that, right? So they say, oh my gosh, that woman looks put together. She knows where the amenities are. She answered all my questions about the community. She was so polite. She opened the door for me. Like, ooh, I want to hang out. I want to spend more time with her, right?
Right.
Don't
I
forget
just have to I'm happy like with my progress. And Kim, thank you for the kind words. Thank you for coming. Like, it meant the world to me. Like, it most absolutely did. Um, I'm just trying to. I'm at a state of trust in the process, and also I know that like if I can figure out, like, I think I'm wasting about 2 hours out of the day. If I can pull those 2 hours back in and refocus when I get off track, I would be okay.
Great. I don't want you to think that you're trying to move 2 hours. Like, start 5 minutes at a time, right? Let's celebrate the small successes, because otherwise you hear, oh, you need to fix that 2 hours. And if you don't have it fixed by tomorrow, you're a failure. That is not the message. The message is, can we be better today than we were yesterday? So if yesterday you wasted 2 hours, can I only waste 1 hour and 57 minutes today? Right?
Okay.
If you just
Baby
scroll through
steps.
Facebook, the next time you impulsively grab Facebook, can you put it down and call somebody you know and say hello? If so, tell the world about it. You're getting a better routine every moment.
You know what I
That
have
was
been
good.
doing? You said something, Bill. You said with LinkedIn, like this was last week, you said that at least try to congratulate people, on LinkedIn and things of that sort. So what I have been doing, like if I'm going to sit on Facebook, which I've cut my social media down a lot unless I'm posted,
Yeah.
but every group that I'm in, I'm active in those groups. LinkedIn this morning, instead of being on Facebook and Instagram, I got in, I started congratulating people. It's some girl, I forgot her name, but she's about to join our market center. So I told her how great it was and kind of just chatted us up. So I'm like, okay, use
But how did
these.
you find somebody on LinkedIn that was about to join our market center?
It just said Keller Williams Realty. Like it said Keller Williams agent or whatever it is. And then I'm just like, hey, well, congratulations. Thank you for joining. I didn't even look at her profile. Like I was just doing that. And she kind of was responding back and forth. And then she said, oh, well, I'm about to join your market center. And I'm like, oh, well, it's amazing. I hope it's everything to you, what it's been to me. It's very, and warming. It's inviting, everything, the whole spiel, because that's how I feel. And then she's just like, yeah, I hope it's just as great. And then I asked if she was a new agent or if she was seasoned. She said that she's kind of a seasoned agent, but she still has, a lot to learn. And I just let her know that she was going to be in a good place. If she ever
Marquis,
needed
was
me,
that
I'm
you?
here. Hold on, I'll tell you.
Maybe
Yeah.
it was Marquia.
I was thinking, I was like, oh no, this isn't me, but this sounds like something that could be. It wasn't me.
It was me,
It was
Who was
Darlene.
it?
Darlene.
That's hilarious.
Yeah,
Ebony,
it was me.
Ebony, she's on mute. That's hilarious.
Well, it was me because in the meeting we were talking about somebody mentioned LinkedIn this morning at the 8:30 to 9, talking about that somebody said something about her husband uses it to network and stuff like
Right,
that.
Marinelli. Uh-huh.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, well, let me start trying to get the people with Keller Williams connected with me on LinkedIn so we could just,
you know, so yeah.
Look at that. Oh my, I didn't even scroll all the way over, but it was just random.
But if you guys
Like,
didn't show your faces, then this would have happened 20 minutes ago.
Yeah. Well, she know. Well, yeah.
my picture is different. Like, look, my hair changed 1,001 times.
See, what if you went in and you looked for Keller Williams agents in, I don't know, Nashville, Birmingham, Greenville, Charleston, Tallahassee, Orlando, and you friended them.
Yeah.
You think anyone moves to Atlanta?
Yeah.
All the time.
I agree. Right?
Mhm.
That's what I was saying. Like when you're in the bold room, be active. When somebody says, "Hey, I got a new listing. I did this." Say, "Oh, congratulations." And then like just be part of just be excited. Be visible, right? Getting that could be a routine. A routine I do every day is I go in and I like 5 posts that people posted and I make 5 comments.
Okay.
And is that a routine? 5 could be 1, could be 3, could be 15, right? What can we do? Thank you. What can we do that we're willing to commit to? Right? Let's start small, right? It's like, I'm going to go to the gym every day at 4:30. How long is that going to last? Right? I'll go to the gym tomorrow at 7 o'clock. Okay, let's try that. You see what I'm saying? Because if you tell yourself one thing and you end up not doing it, then what you're doing is you're telling your brain that you're not succeeding. And when you tell your brain you're not succeeding, it doesn't help you when you're trying to be successful, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
What routines do you think, if you could snap your finger and you had a habit for it, what would you want to do? Who wants to share?
I would make phone calls to my residents on a day-to-day basis and kill 2 birds in 1 stone.
Okay. So my first recommendation for that is to say, that sounds like a goal. Let's make that into a SMART goal, right? Specific, measurable, action-oriented, realistic, and time-bound. Meaning, I will call 5 residents every day between the hours of 11:30 and 12. Right? Or I will call 2 residents every day at 10:15 and 2 more every day at 2 o'clock. That way, it's something you can essentially commit to, and it's something you can check off, and it's clear as day that it was done. And you block the time in your calendar to do just that. Right? That would probably help your real estate business, and that would also probably make you more productive from a manager perspective, right? Hey, so-and-so is ready to sign a renewal. Oh, thanks for checking in on that, Markia. You see what I'm saying?
Yes, and I think it's a good idea, just to actually have a calendar. Like, I think I work off of more so I know what I need to do today, and whatever else comes up, then it gets taken care of, versus actually having a written schedule down for what I need to do on a day-to-day basis.
Guys, if there's anything I cannot recommend enough, you gotta have a calendar. Like for me, I have a paper calendar. My paper calendar kind of looks like this. So like, for example, I've got who I need to call. I got some post-it notes. I've got notes. I've got ideas of things I want to talk to you guys about, things I need to remember. All my appointments, they go on my digital calendar. So I kind of got both right in front of me at all times. When I'm out of the office, I got this thing with me, and of course I can access my calendar, right? Drives me crazy when somebody's like, oh, I don't know my availability. I'll have to let you know when I get back to town. I'm like, what? What are you talking about? Like, you don't have a calendar? You can't access it electronically? Like, are you kidding me? Like, if I was your seller, you'd be fired right now. Is that crazy talk?
It's not, but and Bill, I get it. Like when I was
Yeah.
in corporate America, the calendar, that's what it was. Like I had one. And I remember being at a point in my life where it was something that before I started doing a calendar, I wanted to remember something. I just like, okay, well, you know what? I'm going to pray. I'm going to pray that God makes me remember it when I get up in the morning and then I'm done. Like, as crazy as that sounds, that was kind of my system, like keep it all in my head. And to be honest now, I hate doing my calendar. Like it takes so much time. I don't know, it just takes a lot of time. I do it, but I don't like to.
Um,
I think the calendar would be better if you can actually set alarms for the calendar. Like, I don't like how you can't set an alarm for
yeah.
what needs to be in place. Like, you set a reminder and it pop up and then it may go away, but it doesn't necessarily set an alarm for
You
it
could
to
set
let
an
you
alarm.
know, like, this is about to happen.
You could set an alarm. Go into Google and say, I need to set an alarm for a calendar. Which calendar should I use? And you'll find one.
Yeah.
Okay. My wife looked at me when I was first starting my real estate business like 15 years ago, and I was writing everything down on little note cards. And she looked at me, she's like, what is that? I'm like, that's my calendar. She said, you gotta be kidding me. What she was really saying is, am I gonna marry a dude that has a calendar like that? No. And she's like, I'm gonna go get you a calendar. We can't do this. Which that's another way of saying, I will not live here and expect you to provide for me with that kind of calendar. Seriously, what if your kids saw your calendar? Would they be impressed?
They should be.
Well, not if it's in your head.
Well,
If your kid came home, Ebony, and said, hey, Mom, we've been learning about calendars today and how calendars keep us super organized. Can I see yours? You're a businesswoman. Can I see your calendar? And you're like, well, I pray and I keep it up here. They're like, and you're bringing home the money? Ooh, this scary.
Bill, that was past me. You're right. Like my child asked me, he wanted to go to take his driving test. And I'm like, okay, well, let me look at my calendar because I need to time block you. And it was so funny because I know a couple months ago, I would have just stopped everything I was doing, dropped off and did it. Now it's like, no. Like, let me look. I pick up the phone. Oh, can you do this? Hold on. Let me look at my calendar. So I'm getting better, a lot better than where it was that I was at.
That's fantastic because otherwise you'll just be there. You'll just be reacting to everyone else's possible emergencies, and then you won't actually ever accomplish the things that are critical to your success.
Exactly.
And then the day will be done, and you're like, well, I guess I'll call people tomorrow. Right?
I think it's a good thing you have the calendar to put out the beginning of the week so that you can put it on the calendar to hold yourself more accountable.
Of course.
And with the switch over, I think that that's something that I saw myself utilizing my calendar a lot more. And there was a time where like 2 months straight, I used my calendar and I wrote everything down. And then I don't know, the habit just went away. And then it's like now I need to like re-pick back up the habit and use my phone along with the paper calendar in front of me to be more productive.
Guys, we all have 24 hours in a day. We all have 24 hours in a day. Why is it that some people get more done than other people? It's not that they're smarter.
I have it planned out, organized.
That's right. It's because they're better at saying no to things. The reason why they're better at saying no to things is because they actually know what they're choosing between. Right? We had somebody in the group, I won't give you too many details, but she got a call from her friend and said, hey, I left something at home. Can you come and drop it off at my office? And she went. And then, so like an hour and a half went by in the middle of the day where she's running an errand for a friend of hers. And I'm all about being nice to people, but only when you're on the calendar, right? You lost something at work, you go deal with it yourself. I'm lead generating.
That's what happened to me just a few minutes ago because I got this lead for renters who were in town from Florida, and they needed to see stuff today because they had to leave back out. But I already had everything down on my calendar that I needed to do today. And to stop everything and go see them, I just decided what's going on in my calendar was probably going to be more profitable than going to take renters around in Lawrenceville and Swanee, which is about an hour from my house. So I just decided to give the lead out.
Well, I'm not saying what you did is right or wrong. I think that's a good way to evaluate it, though. This is what I have in my calendar. This is the alternative, and you weigh which one makes the most sense, right? The fact that they need to go see property today, quite frankly, that's just a lack of preparedness. And why should it have to rearrange your whole day?
He said that. He was like, I came up here last week and I've been looking all around without a realtor and I'm exhausted. And, so he wanted to go see property today and then part of tomorrow and then head back to Florida. And I was like, oh, wow. So I took his information down and I started to help him. And then I thought, I can't do this.
Oh,
because I have so many things on my calendar already.
I think that's great. I think it's all up to you to determine how you're going to spend your time.
Kim, how did you transition that conversation?
What's that?
I wanted to know, how did she transition that conversation, to someone else? Did you just say that you were going to refer him to another agent, or like, what did you say to him? I can't hear you.
Kim, you're on mute.
Sorry about that. I didn't have a relationship with this couple, so I didn't really feel too much pressure by it. I took their information and I told them I was going to start looking for them. And then I just called them and told them that I had to refer them to a team member because they needed to see stuff today. They were kind of like pressured to see stuff today and tomorrow. And I told them that my calendar was full and I was going to refer them to someone on my team.
There you go.
Okay.
They don't care. They just want to see the property.
Right. They had no relationship with me. So if they were like friends or a referral, I would have done it.
Okay. Cool things.
Cool. Let's I want to make sure that everyone leaves with like an idea for a new routine that might be able to help them be more strategic, more healthy, more productive. Where else are we struggling? We struggle in the morning.
Okay, I'll just be honest. I don't like morning lead gen. I don't like lead gen at all, truthfully, right? So I have to find some other way to go out and meet people. So I've just been going around places where I know people are comfortable being out and where I feel safe. And I just go meet, I'm going out meeting people. If I have something to do at Lowe's, I go to Lowe's and I meet people. That's kind of what I'm doing.
Okay.
I completely understand that because I'm good at that. It's just like with people, I'm very personable. I try to do, a mixture of both, but I'm always with business cards. Like there's never a moment, whether it's the gas station, grocery store, like I'm going to listen to you, but I'm going to turn this somehow into real estate. And I think that, I can't wait for COVID to whenever it kind of loosens up because I'm so ready to hit go because that's my thing. Like people like me.
That's good. You just sit down next to the for sale by owners at Lowe's, and as soon as somebody comes up to grab a for sale by owner sign, corner them and be like, you ain't buying that thing. Here's my card.
Right.
I buy the signs around here.
But what you said about Facebook was really good a little while ago. When you said, the moment you get ready to pick up Facebook to call someone, to scroll through Facebook, instead put it down and call someone. I'm actually going to do that.
Right. Is there any activity that you can like, it's almost like you pick it up and you're like, that's not for me. That doesn't help me get to where I'm trying to go. Right? It's like, I don't drink much soda, right? I tell you, I really wanted a soda yesterday, and I went in. We went to the apple orchard yesterday, hot as can be all day long. I go in and I say, come out, and I'm like, hey Rachel, my wife. I said, hey, they only have soda and water. She's like, so get the water. I'm like, right? What I should have done is looked at the soda and said, soda ain't for me. I drink water. You see what I'm saying? It almost becomes part of your being. It's like I have to become the type of person who doesn't waste time on Facebook. I have to become the type of person that doesn't eat that stuff, because when I eat it, I feel like I'm violating my own true self, right? It almost has to go another level deeper to say, you ever heard the phrase like you need to set goals so big that you have to become a different person in order to achieve them? Like me, I'm not going to work out every day. But if I know I need to, then I have to become a different person, meaning I have to think differently, I have to behave differently, I have to sleep differently, etc. I have to put myself in a different environment in order to become the person that has to do that, or that would do that naturally. And my willingness to become a different person to do it is going to dictate whether it happens or not. Right? It's pleasure or pain. It's like, what's worse? You know, I don't know that this is a personal topic for anyone here, but you know, let's say you have a drug issue and you're about to lose your family over the drug issue. Like, what's more painful? Not having the drink or losing the family? Got to make a choice, right? Hopefully it doesn't.
I have a question to that, Bill.
Yeah.
If you, okay, so if you have a client that you're actively working with and you have your schedule or have things like, so I had a situation where my client texted me at like 10 o'clock last night and was like, hey, I have this townhome that I want to see tomorrow. And I work in Alpharetta and the townhome is in Conyers. And I'm like, okay, let me see what I can do. And it's like, okay, do I leave work early? Do I try to make this accommodation just because this is my client? And I just showed her 2 homes on Saturday. Actually yesterday I just showed her 2 homes, and it's like that one wasn't a part of the plan. And it's like, does that make me a bad agent if I don't necessarily make accommodations to show them what they potentially want, especially with it being a seller's market, and it could possibly be off the market, you know, in a day or so?
Is
How
that
to go about that?
is that a property that's within the boundaries of what they're wanting, or is that just like a random place?
Yes, it's within the pre-qualifications.
Okay, so gosh, it depends. I mean, it's kind of like you always want to have like maybe like a colleague that can like help you every once in a while for these one-off chances that you know something is critical but you can't pull it off time-wise, right?
You just gotta find a buddy.
Yeah,
Like,
you gotta have a buddy.
yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And if you have a person that like, honestly, I had a former client call me this weekend, and I'm not really dying to like work with them, right? I'm trying to decide what I want to do. You have to make a decision on what's the best use of your time, right? Can I pay somebody $25 to go open that door for them? If you work in Alpharetta, you're gonna spend $25 in gas simply to get to Conyers.
Yeah, to go all the way to Conyers, exactly.
Right. So can you call the Conyers KW office and say, hey, is there anybody that would be willing to open this door for this person? Right. And anyone in Conyers, they're probably not going to work Metro Atlanta. So now you have a relationship with an agent there. And then next time you have an opportunity in Conyers, you might make a business decision to send it to them, and you don't have to ever go to Conyers.
Right.
Right. I mean, I taught a class in Conyers about 2 or 3 years ago, but before that, I hadn't been to Conyers since the Olympics.
Yeah. it just puts me in a tough situation because it's like I get, that there's not a lot of availability. But the other thing is, I think this is the one I was telling you about, that she hasn't put her house on the market yet. And she's like, I'm putting it on the market this week, so I kind of want to go ahead and look at stuff. And so it puts me in a tough situation where it's like, okay, your house isn't on the market yet. You don't really want to do any contingencies as far as,
Say, hey,
you know,
my only hesitation
so,
to that is that I'm going to take you to something you want.
right.
Then I'm going to say, okay, you want it. We got to take quick action.
Mm-hmm.
And the person's going to say, well, I need to have a contingency. Well, you're going to lose.
Exactly.
So rather than disappointing you, why don't we spend all of our energy getting your property on the market? And then we'll go find the homes that meet what you're looking for. Because right now,
And then it may be worth the sacrifice of leaving Alpharetta to go to Conyers.
Well, yeah, because in 2 weeks it would be different,
Right.
right?
What about the knock program? That sounds like a good fit for it.
You know what she's talking about?
I'm sorry, my phone was connecting over. Can you repeat that for me?
Go ahead.
Can I hear you?
There's a program called Knock. You have to take a class and get registered.
Yes.
But did you know about that program?
I just came over to KW on Friday, but the week before last, Aubrey told me about that program, which seems awesome. But the only issue, now is that she's listing her house with a different agent.
That's it.
Because I told her son her home.
She's listing with a different agent?
Exactly.
Why?
Yeah, because I just sold her son, because I sold her son her home, and she already had her agent to sell, but she was like, I really like what you did with my son, so I want to use you to purchase my home, but I've already have prior obligations with my listing agent. So
Just say, hey, I didn't know if you'd want to know about this opportunity. Is that listing agent with KW, Georgia Lake?
Yeah, exactly. But now that I'm actually with KW, then that's a conversation that I can actually have with her that I wasn't, able to have prior to me coming over.
Right. Say, hey, this is only you're not able to get this program unless you work with a KW agent with one of these 3 offices or Atlanta Community.
Mm-hmm.
So if your agent is at Joe Schmo Realty, they can't do this. Now the fact that you need to sell this home before you buy puts you in an unusual predicament, and you don't want a contingency. So let me ask you a question.
Exactly.
Would you rather miss out on the right home for you and your family, or would you rather be have an allegiance to this woman that doesn't have access to this program?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Any answer is fine. I just want you to be aware.
I'm gonna have that conversation with her. Mm-hmm.
Right. Any answer is fine. I just want you to be aware of the fact that it doesn't have to be the way you're explaining.
That makes sense.
Cool. Okay, we got another minute or two. Who else? Was this helpful?
Definitely.
Okay. I appreciate you coming today, guys. Of course, if you have any questions, if there's anything I can do to help you with routine, or if, one really good way to help with a routine is to get an accountability partner, right? So if Ebony needs to be in bed by 10 o'clock, is there anyone that's willing to text her at 10 o'clock and say, get in bed? Right? If Kim needs to, build a vision board and turn her desk around so she can focus on the right stuff, text her tomorrow morning and said, did you fix your desk?
Oh
Right.
my.
I've done a lot of things. I've done, taking pictures of my feet at 6 o'clock in the morning to prove to somebody that I was out of bed.
I remember that.
That was back in the early days, right?
Yes, that's right.
I've done, running with people at 5:30 in the morning on the phone because they were depressed and they needed to run to not be depressed. Like, buddy up, right? Ebony, if you're struggling with something, call Marquia and say, hey, Marquia, what are you struggling with? I'm going to help you. Let me hold you accountable to one thing. You hold me accountable to one thing. and we're gonna not be victim to these problems anymore.
Yes, and I'm new to KW, so I definitely love some accountability if I can get some numbers.
Well, you came
Okay,
to a place for accountability, didn't she?
hold on, no hang. I'm gonna put my number out there. I think that's a
And
great idea.
I'm
Like,
driving, so I'm gonna put my number in there. And if you all can text me, it would be perfect because I'm pretty sure the Zoom is gonna end prior to me getting to my location.
Yeah, I'll get you guys each other's numbers. Not a big deal.
Okay.
Cool. Anything you guys need, you let me know. Here, I will send this to Ebony.
I just screenshot it. I got it.
Perfect. All
I'm
right,
gonna
well,
text you in a couple minutes, but yeah, the more accountability partners we have, the better.
that's right.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
All right. Ebony gave me her permission to send her a text at 10 o'clock to go to bed.
and I'm actually going to listen. I'm going to get into bed too.
I'll tell my assistant, I'll be like, hey, text this person every day at 10 o'clock. Go to bed.
That's cheating, Bill.
Hey,
So I want to see if you get a call from Ebony's husband. That's what I want to see.
Look, he's a piece of work.
Bill texted me at 10 o'clock.
I'll let him know prior.
I'll have an awesome day.
You too. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.